Now I have the great pleasure of introducing Dr. Jonathan Appleby, who's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult, who's going to discuss advanced therapies and how collaborations benefit the development of these products. So Jonathan, over to you.
Thank you, Kate. I hope you can all see and hear me okay. So I've got just 3 slides to talk you through some elements of the catapult, and that's relevant because we exist to support the ATMP industry in the UK, and I want to tell you about some of the facilities that we've got that can help you in your mission to develop treatments. And then I'll finish with a slide talking about collaboration and how you can accelerate your program through broader collaboration. So first slide, please. So just to point out that the Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult's not alone. We're part of a large government-sponsored network of 9 other catapults. The Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult works a bit with high-value manufacturing and the Medicines Discovery Catapult, but hopefully you can see from the slides that this is a government-supported initiative to fund the UK's competitiveness in areas of innovation. And all of the catapults exist to focus on the generation of sustained economic growth in this space. I just want to stress that although we can do fee-for-service work, we're a non-profit organisation, so you can be confident when you interact with us that we're not trying to take information from you for commercial gain. We're not for profit. It's really all about accelerating your growth towards a commercially viable entity. Next slide, please. So the Catapult was formed back in 2012, and we've got, broadly speaking, 3 main areas of our business right now. On the right-hand side of this slide was our recent involvement in the Vaccine Task Force efforts to make the UK more independent with regard to vaccines supply. That's not so relevant today unless you're interested in 3,000-litre bioreactors, but it's an important part of the UK's innovation potential because hopefully when VMIC comes online, we'll be repurposing this towards large-scale industrial innovation projects. The manufacturing centre is a purpose-built facility with 12 large 100-square-metre clean rooms that companies that are now moving toward the clinic can move into and benefit from that infrastructure with regard to GMP manufacturing space. Instead of each company having to build its own factory, this is a unit that people can go in and use one of those rooms for their own independent IP-secure manufacturing. But of most interest to the audience today, I'd like to focus on the development centre on the left-hand side of the slide. So this is in Guy's Tower, mostly on the 12th floor, so very close to the ATA area and the other facilities that you heard Robin introducing. And we have around 7 laboratories now with some expansion space on the ATA Accelerator 10th floor. And we have about 70 scientists who are full-time into the type of process development that is likely to be relevant to your projects. We have a stem cell differentiation and expansion work stream. We have engineers and bioprocessing skills that focus on closing and automating your bioprocessing methodologies to make them more ready to transfer into GMP space and more scalable. And we've invested substantially over the last few years, particularly in AAV viral vector manufacturing capability, and we're supporting the UK network with those capabilities that we've developed. Also importantly, many of you may know Jacqueline Barry. She heads up our adoption team, which has skilled individuals that can advise around non-clinical, or sometimes called preclinical animal testing work, a group of regulators that can support you with interactions with the various bodies, not just in the UK, but also internationally. We've experience with conducting clinical trials and a very useful and important health economics group that can help you build your models that can talk about the type of value that you can add and help you understand how to design your clinical trials to demonstrate that value if you become successful and go to HTA assessment bodies. So if you could move to the next slide now. Why is it relevant for me to tell you those things? So I've been in and around medicines development for about 25 years now. I was smiling to myself with Robin's introduction, because as a postdoc working at Guy's Drug Research Unit, I actually was a volunteer in one of those early antibody studies. And just a few years ago, I was fortunate to be the project leader of Strimvelis. So it's been literally part of my body to be in this field for so long. And through the last couple of years of working at the Catapult, where I've been able to gain more experience of the academic funding environment, we've developed this hypothesis where you can see this almost like a traffic light scheme of what it takes to cross this valley of death from a great differentiated idea and a group with convincing in vitro data that support this mechanism works, and that there's really something there, green lights when it comes to getting investment to move towards these much more taxing and expensive areas of development. But then things get stuck. It's hard for academics to get the money to develop, get enough drug substance to do convincing in vivo modeling. It's extremely hard to get enough money to do those pivotal preclinical safety pharmacology studies and convince investors that you have a reliable, high-yielding manufacturing process that could be suitable for scaling and GMP supply. And without access to those things, it's hard to then get the money to pull in experienced entrepreneurs that will support your models and develop this business model that you need to get funding from VCs to be able to fund those things that are at the top there, which are yellow. So if you could just press the space bar once and move on to the build. So what we've created at the Catapult is a commercialization of research group. It's a group of dedicated individuals, only about 5, because we have a broad range of things that we need to do. But 5 individuals that can help support you with designing non-clinical models and putting together that manufacturing process. And this is in particular what we want to do with people on the 10th floor. So these labs, we envisage groups coming and working side by side with those 70 scientists that I talked about on the previous slide, helping to construct a manufacturing process that will get you the investment that you need in order to move forward. Oh, the light's gone off in my office here. But getting investment isn't just about being able to prove those things. So next build, please. Maybe one more as well, please. What we also do is use our network in order to try to complete that business model pitch that you need when you go to investors. So we can get independent consultants or people with experience of running pitches for money, or early sort of CEO startups to come along with you when you make your pitch to investors. And we can use our health economics and medical affairs teams, our IP attorneys and regulatory advisors to help you get ready to answer those difficult questions that will come from investors around whether you have freedom to operate from an intellectual property perspective and licensing perspective, and how well you understand your market entry points in order to demonstrate that your idea is probably going to fit when it gets through to approval in the space and what it might be worth. So my message is that you need to collaborate in order to pull in all of the skills necessary to develop medicines. It's a phenomenally complicated and challenging area with lots of crosstalk and lots of interactions. And the matrix of capabilities in the UK enables you to find the people that you need in order to bridge this difficult gap. And the Catapult is one of the areas that you can come for guidance in that respect. And I hope that we can do that particularly well through the ATA network that's being put into the Guy's Tower with us. That's my last slide. So thank you very much for listening.